psychiatrist?
I mean, she's been handling it okay so far. She did actually talk to someone like, "Hey, so could I maybe, get some training to deal with this?" But that was before everything exploded. I
Yeah.
suppose since we have a few, what is it, days, she could just
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, so here's what's going on. I was promised someone might be able to help here."
Huh. This piece of music makes perfect sense for a psychiatrist office.
Mm-hmm. That it would.
Just walks into psychiatrist office. So when I have panic attacks, people die.
Mm-hmm. They're just sitting there eating their lunch, and this bunny just walks in. Hi, I'm having trauma.
I, I'm having
I mean,
trauma that could kill
I mean,
people.
Just
we can lead off
slams the
with
door,
that.
slams the door open, holds their hand up like they have a question, and they're just super happy and chipper, like, I have mental damage. I have untreated PTSD. I don't know. Take
I
your
think in
pick
this world
for.
they call it I think they call it traumatic event, a response disorder. No, traumatic event response syndrome,
Terse.
as it's more logical. Curse
Wait,
or
hold on.
tears,
That's
technically.
ter-
Okay, dialect-wise, it would be tears with their language because it's a tear in the mind. It's tears.
oh, terse has an e at the end. But okay,
Ters.
yeah.
Curse technically tears with how they pronounce things.
But terse is sparing in the use of words. Abrupt.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have very much to say after being bombed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, take your pick for the introductions. Naibai is there now because they've been informed that there is in fact a psychiatrist here. Wait, does this cost money?
They cannot speak. Their mouth is full of food, but they shake their head no.
Okay, and they're going to sit pretty on the bench, table, chair thing.
Guildmaster has always been very adamant that something such as mental faculty should never be charged. Keep stable. Oh, welcome. just, just cleaning off their little workspace as they just get ready. Just they got crumbs and shit everywhere. Tell me about the event that
Well,
led to the.
Naibai will go into detail, recounting the events leading up to their joining of the military and the events in the battle, and what she thinks is likely to be the source of the trauma, getting bombed and having limbs removed permanently. And, oh yeah, the hundreds of people that she killed.
Oh, you can take solace from this fact. You aren't the first. Come to me. You're not the first that's in the that has problem. It's a common occurrence. Very hard to move on from. Finding something similar, enormous. We're going to skip a few things. Rhythmic exercises, I'll go ahead and skip over, and weight training, such as you're physically fit. Assuming you have reasons, and I'm not going to pry. as to why don't you just get an arm grafted? Because it can be done.
Physically
Have
can't.
you just tried nature?
I I have been taking some time to enjoy nature when we get a chance to relax, and when we're traveling, I do like to look outside.
Oh, you don't know what, but you know that kind of that little inquisitive writing that they're doing. Something on the other side of that clipboard might make you feel self-conscious.
Rabbi is going to give a quick glance over their dress, make sure that nothing's like out of place in case they're in their rush they forgot something.
Do you take any time at all every day?
Not every day, but I do frequently take time to uh, dance. I do enjoy that.
Normal dancing, death dancing, spirit dancing, rain dancing, what dancing?
Demon dancing.
You should not do that, at least for a little while. Try sitting down and meditating. A couple of breathing, or get a massage every day. Maybe not a massage. It's weird to have, but a yoga, something to take a minute, not long, 5. I'm assuming you don't eat a unhealthy diet of one type of food. I know who diets consist entirely off of cheese and bacon. I'd recommend vegetable starches, protein, and dairies.
Um, I think I know someone that can milk. I can always forage for vegetables and fruits. Or I suppose there is the mess hall, but they tend to serve a lot of starches and meats, I've noticed.
Um, Normally not a problem if you're actively venturing or burning all of that, but it isn't necessarily a lot of natural. They do have those options. You can ask for them. Do that. Get sleep too. But the main thing to help talk about. Don't talk about it happening. Talk about what happened.
But how do I bring that up in conversation without, like, bringing down the whole mood? Everyone in my
Well,
party is really happy and chipper, and I don't want to be a downer.
if they're your friends, won't bother them. Of course, you could always tell me it's my job, and it wouldn't be something I haven't heard or lived before. Even I try to keep this a little bit. The least painful things first. Start small.
I think I'd like to talk to you about it while I have one of my friends who I trust nearby, in case something triggers it, one of the memories.
And you can go get them.
Okay. And they'll get up and give a polite small bow and leave.
Sound of crouch.
And Naibai has no idea who they're gonna go to for that. So they're gonna have to think about that for a while. Next person! Shadow.
Ah.
That guy just threw it at them. I remember to unmute when you're done.
Uh,
I just muted
Okay.
because my mic seemed to be picking up all the background noise. So I'm here.
Fion's doing Fion stuff.
yes. Theon is actually just in his room reading his book.
Ah, yes, that's where he went after he got done smithing a little bit. They're trying to make something.
Yeah. He was just testing out. He used a couple of pieces of scrap to make little rails. A couple little rails.
A singular
They
functional rail and
found him
one rail that's it's trying.
yeah. He's just doing his best.
Mm-hmm. I save this music
But
because it was fantastic. There we go. Well, no. We gotta go back to a classic one. Hold on. Yeah. No, loop it. There we go. Yeah. Okay, continue.
well, Theon would be reading his book and he would be starting to draw little designs on a paper using the rails.
Hmm. Okay. Fion's just taking a creative day.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is tired. He is still a little sore. He is going to take it easy today.
Yep. Because pretty much every one of the tanks are in bandages.
Yeah.
That even help you? Matter.
Huh?
Oh, just a small conversation between Mob and Faraji, who's wearing a lot of lace around his neck. Mob, that's a whole ass bone. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it makes sense that they'd find their way back for dinner. Fucking Faraji also found a coconut. He's saving for later. It's a tropical tree fruit. What he's calling it. Mob's argument.
Oh no, it's getting
Faraji,
faster.
not a tree fruit. That's a damn rock. So are potatoes, and you eat those. Yeah, see, it comes out the ground. It's a rock.
Does that make yams rocks too?
That's by Faraji logic, yes.
Oh no, carrots are rocks.
Anything that grows out of the ground and not on a vine is a rock.
Not on a vine. Wait, what about berries?
Berries grow in like bundles. They don't just grow off the ground.
Yeah, but that's not a vine.
Yeah, it's a vineyard though. It's an artificial vine. I didn't say his logic was flawless. It's just flawless to him. What proof do you have that anything that grows out of the ground is a rock? Turnips? Beets? You ever try to eat those raw? Nope. It's not that hard. Shut up! Be belligerent. Up. No. This. Jam to this. Okay. This is gonna be an uneventful day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's okay.
and be quiet. I'm sure Beatrice is being very lewd right now.
Yeah. I can see it.
She's very happy. She's going to be very affectionate, and of course, very lewd.
Mm. Cheese product. Delicious.
Nectar of the gods.
It. That hair bug. It really is though. Milk. Cheese. Can't wait for season 2.
Oh,
Goblin Slayer.
oh yeah.
And Rimuru.
True. December comes The Witcher.
Yeah.
What is that, the 4th Witcher property?
No, the same Witcher. Like season 2 of The Witcher.
Oh, the current run. Okay.
We can hear the legendary fuck over and over again. I like how you can just look at that image and hear it.
Yeah.
Can't hear pictures my ass.
Can't hear pictures shows a picture of Mr. Krabs walking.
That reminds me of a picture someone gave me of one of my characters doing that. I should show that in Telegram. Let the Chrome unlock. There we go. Then it unfroze. Um,
Well, when Naibai does do her wandering, the easiest to find are Bob, Bonnie, Raji, and Shizuna. They're just kind of sitting there.
Wait, wasn't it Fionn that talked to Naibai before about, like, their singing lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they would have talked to them a little bit about their trauma. So they'd probably
Yeah.
be looking for them.
Maybe she's in the room.
Yeah.
Which
Fion's
they
in
can
his
happily
room.
direct you
Alright.
to. Or Raji will just, yeah, he's over there in his room.
Alright.
Kill them. Ow, you're gonna steal my rock. Bob has just sat down the bone he was chewing on, has going to decided to lead Naibai to go find the cat.
Alright. Once they get to the room, Naibai is going to walk in, glance around until they spot them, say, "Come on, we're removing another one of those piercings."
Gillen's gonna look up from his drawing, his book in one hand. Huh? Hey. He will close his book after leaving a bookmark in it and follow Naibai.
They will thank you, courteously take you back to the therapist.
Back to the calm music.
I've only been to therapy, like, briefly in person, so I don't actually know a whole lot about what goes on here.
Depends person to person. But the main key of it is just being a minute, talking. Even if you berate and insult them, that's plenty. They're on what you can only assume is their second plate of snacks.
Do they just stack all day?
Do they have anything else?
You don't
better to
know.
do?
Like, you really don't know. Maybe they're stressed because all the shit they hear. Who knows?
I mean, yeah. I can only imagine the amount of, okay, so don't tell anyone this, but stories they hear.
And how many people completely forget the words doctor-patient confidentiality? As they best described it, you have the right to kick my ass by law.
In an adventuring guild, I imagine they are very incentivized not to share or divulge secrets.
At times.
Oh, but what if it's like something that the headmaster absolutely has to know because, like, this is a world-ending thing?
Well, there are exceptions, just like in real life.
Okay.
If you confess plots of murder, they can only tell that person. If you confess something that could end in mass death of a bunch of people, they can tell the appropriate authorities, and so on and so forth. But you can't be like, okay, you can't tell my wife, but I'm having sex with the two sisters. Yeah, they can't tell your wife because it's sex isn't killing her. I should give them an STD. Might be a loophole.
Well, it depends. Is it a deadly STD, or is it one you just kind of gotta deal with?
Who
Where's
knows?
the crab?
Magic crabs.
Attack the weak spot.
Well, sir, you have crabs. Fine. Unfortunately, coconut. We're gonna have to amputate. Oh God! I don't think you understand the problem that is the coconut crab. That thing squeezes
That's a
harder than a
big-ass
crocodile's
crab.
bite.
Yeah, it does. It will absolutely squeeze your finger right off.
785 pounds of force.
Jesus.
Low key, people believe that they ate Amelia Earhart's body when she crashed.
Really?
They're
Well-
scavengers. They
Well,
eat meat.
we don't know exactly where they crashed, but we know approximately somewhere.
And it happened to be in a region where coconut crabs are naturally wandering.
Yeah.
Two and two together, they ate all of her.
Crab.
Nature
So
be
you
scary.
know, Google how big a coconut crab is. I'll thank me
No,
later.
they're huge.
They're not as big as the spider crab. What is it? The kaiju. Yeah, the colossus crab.
Yeah, the colossal crab.
The one nobody wants to eat, even though it's delicious.
Apparently hagfish are delicious too, but I don't want to deal with a cum bucket like that. Okay, I gotta put a plate up and get a drink. Because as you can imagine, bread is not conducive to you having a hydrated mouth.
I think I need to find something to nibble while we do our.
I will be right back.
If I
Just
want
call
something
me
to nibble, I'll have to
and
go downstairs and get it, but I don't wanna, because I'm comfy in this giant ass bed.
Damn, I guess I'll just sit here by myself then.
oh shit.
I'm not
You
going
get a food
anywhere.
cube.
I said I guess I'll just sit here by myself then.
Good. You have the kitty. You have the kitty meow meow with you.
Uh, so yeah, Naibai would remove that other piercing that they gave you, and that's all of your debts to are repaid, so yeah.
Yeah.
He is very important in their tribe. Debts are very significant.
Mm-hmm. You know, those are. I kind of like those in the ear. Oh,
Well, if you ever need something from me again, I'll make sure to put them right back where they were. Until then, it's very rude to fill the holes where the piercings were. What is it? It's very rude to fill the holes left behind by debts paid.
oh, really? Didn't know that. But now I've got these earrings, and he's wearing the earrings that he got from the carnival.
Okay. Where is my phone? Oh. Ah, there's
It's up your ass.
the phone. Okay. So
Easy there.
woo! That loogie tried to go up the throat and down the throat simultaneously.
Mhm.
It just there was a civil war with that piece of spit. We must return to the pit. Now I wish to be free.
We must divide.
United we stand. Divided we fall. Both fell. Divided we did fall. Oh no! Okay. So you have your psychiatrist just kind of watching.
So, yeah, Naibai's just talking about the events that happened. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. This is backstory.
It's a
Oh,
horrible backstory.
I know, it's awful. Giving a character traumatic experiences and an amputation for no other reason than it seemed like a good idea at the time.
I respect you for telling me. You greatly respect that. Having the strength to tell me. So we will start small. The first time you were in a trench and you witnessed artillery, what were your thoughts? Not used on you. Seen it.
Well, initially I was confused. It sounded like cacophonous thunder, and a lightning strike had struck the uh, munitions. Uh, it was only after the third or fourth volley that I realized that that was just the sound that the artillery made. Initially, it didn't bother me very much. It was just like a lightning storm. It did get a little worse when the return fire came down, though. I was under in the bunkers at the time, so I wasn't really exposed to the visual elements or the viscera, but I was acting as a nurse, so I got to see the aftermath. And I suppose that sort of prompted me to already have an image in my mind of what it must have been like before actually seeing it, which probably made it worse.
And the noises that they made, those did hearing all cries, grows.
Well, the cries of men and women dying didn't really bother me very much. I did grow up in a tribe, so it wasn't uncommon to hear the sounds of war not too far away. Uh, I saw many of my relatives and brothers and sisters go off to fight, and some never came back, so I was at least familiar with it on an emotional level. I guess I just never expected to be one of the people that it affected.
You didn't anticipate the scale of which you were subjected to in a war between nations.
That probably had something to do with it too. I suppose on the scale of a nationwide war, what I was used to was nothing more than a scuffle between clans.
Uh,
Damn, it's cold. Where's my blanket? There's
yeah, there's that thing. I'm kind of cold too. About
How can
wrapped
it
up.
be cold in Florida? That doesn't exist.
it. It doesn't. That's why we invented AC.
Yep.
Well, actually, we invented AC to get the moisture out of the air, but it has this nice side effect of also making it colder.
True. No, you aren't used to warfare. You are used to skirmish that used in weaponry on a small scale. Then from your or volunteered, and then put in a place where you were exposed to death every day. Itself isn't a problem, but it's the gruesome manner often that causes a lot of the trauma. See what two nations fighting each other, vying for something, arguing with the lives of men. Understandable then. It left you. Came down with it. Even more so that you experienced it firsthand. Now, what do you remember from that day? Your unlucky day. You walked outside for the first time in the morning, out of 1,000 different times. You were unfortunate enough to be below some sort of divine joke.
Well, I'm not sure the Divines had much to do with it. Uh, that day had started pretty regularly. The trenches had been shelled overnight. A lot of the shells were ineffective, but many of them struck their targets, so we had an influx of soldiers. And an outgoing crew that was all patched up, just enough for warfare, the general said. So, we were tending to them, and we were keeping track of the time between the shells falling, so we would know when we were able to have a respite to rest ourselves between the men dying and bleeding and the organ harvesting to save another. And the shells had stopped for quite a while at that point, around midday. We thought that perhaps they had run out of ammunition. Work slowed down, we were able to catch up with the wounded. We even sat down and had a nice meal for once. The Sergeant General actually gathered a few supplies around that they had snuck in, and we enjoyed a nice lunch before we had to deal with more of the patients. And then the next volley started coming down, and one of my closer friends, one of the other nurses I remembered, was outside on a smoke break, trying to relieve some of the stress, and I didn't so much walk, but I ran out to get them. At the time, I wasn't really thinking about it. They obviously would have heard the shells coming down before I heard them landing. And I suppose in that panic to try and get one of the people I actually cared about to safety, I wasn't really thinking about my own, and I ended up in the trenches searching through bodies, hoping that maybe they were under one of them. And the next round came down. When it hit, I was losing so much blood and getting cold. I genuinely feared for my life at such a deep level that I don't know, just my training from the tribe just kind of came to me unconsciously. And once I opened myself up to the spirits of all those dead and regretful soldiers, I wasn't in control anymore. I'm sorry.
Alright.
I don't know if it came across in the audio really well, but I was trying to get kind of the choking up,
Okay.
it's like subtly in there.
Yeah.
I heard a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Because like
Film.
they're still very guarded about their emotions. They try to keep them as neutral as possible to prevent something like that happening.
A moment. When you can stop talking whenever you feel. Want to take a
I've had years to sit here and think about it. If it needs to be said so that I can get better, then it needs to be said.
Have you actually thought about it, or have you just remembered a little bit of it at a time so you don't forget?
I used to be afraid of the memory, but I learned to process that it's something that's happened. It's in the past now. There isn't very much I can really do about it, besides moving on with my life. That's helped a lot. I've been able to go back and think about my actions on that day and what really happened. So, it's not like I'm in denial about it, but I'm
But
probably
why?
biased. Uh,
You, you're blaming yourself, aren't you?
I blame myself for not thinking about the consequences before I went out into the engagement zone. And I blame myself for losing control like that.
Right. It's your fault that someone decided to send a volley your way, or that you are the one who made someone take themselves a minute outside. You're the one who dug the trench. You're the one who killed those men and women. Oh, why don't you go ahead and moment there? That one. Think about it. You blame yourself, but why do you blame yourself? What's the reason? When you do think about why you blame yourself, tell me, what's a just enough reason to blame yourself for your actions?
I should have been better than that. I had trained with all of the members of my tribe. It was almost like it was like we were meant to be able to communicate with the demons in our own way. Demons are supposed to be stronger than any mortal man, and I don't know how it happened that I just lost it. Should have been able to handle the stress, but maybe I was just way over my head.
You did learn a very valuable lesson. There's no greater monster than those little. But why is that a reason to blame yourself? Do you think a tribe, relatively peaceful tribe, would have made you ready for that? For a war, a small one, a war between nations themselves that hate the world around them. You blame yourself because you weren't prepared. You didn't know the atrocities you would be walking into, did you?
We weren't told very much as nurses. Most of the action we were supposed to see was died and dying soldiers. We were never trained or equipped to go to the front lines.
Every time they're just gonna flick their little music box, get going.
Wind it back up.
Why blame yourself then? Because that doesn't seem like a valid reason to me. Not being prepared. Prepared for something. A beast like no other. Or the guild itself avoids it because it's something that no one should be acclimated. Fighting is one thing, but war isn't just about a fight. It's a battle, taking territory, changing lives forever. In and of itself, store. So can't blame yourself for that either. Can't blame yourself for not having the capacity to handle superpowers fighting at each other's throats and you getting caught in the middle. Can't blame yourself. Killing of people when you lost control because you yourself were caught in the middle. You can't blame yourself for your friend taking a minute to calm themselves outside. Can't blame yourself for you working with little relaxings to throw shells at a foreign enemy. You certainly can't blame yourself for not being strong enough. So that's a lot of reasons as to why you can't blame yourself. So is there someone, something you would prefer to actually blame instead of using yourself as the scapegoat?
I don't feel like that would be fair. I wouldn't want to direct these feelings towards someone that I could focus all of my ire and frustrations on.
That
Because
it's someone.
then I would just be so entirely focused on righting the wrongs or revenge, something else that I'm sure I'd be able to avoid getting lost in the emotion, but I don't want to become that kind of person.
Then there is an option. Just get rid of the blame. If you aren't at fault and someone or something isn't at fault, get rid of it. It's only emotional dead weight that'll weigh you down, give you any cause you more harm, more grief.
Excuse me.
You're excused.
Ah, itchy.
I know the pain of
Itchy ears, and then I have to move it, and it makes sound on the OBS, and I can never tell if it's a sound it's gonna actually record or not. Because the bar goes up, but then it's not always, like, recorded.
And here I drank a bunch of pop and I had eaten some snacks and gave it a lot of surfaces to foam, making me burpy.
Oh, you've made the classic mistake of chips and dips.
Essentially, although this time it was mixed nut.
beep, sweeps, and creeps.
Just going through the process here real quick.
It's okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Ah, the soldiers. Well, if I don't blame myself, exactly blame the soldiers. Only trying to defend what they loved. There was so much conflict.
Yes, there was. That war having finally come to an end had enough conflict for a lifetime.
I did not enjoy being the vessel of this beast of war, being the embodiment of it. Not pleasant.
Um, being caught up in the machine is beyond painful. But now that we've established there is no one to blame, can't blame soldiers for doing their job. Can't blame yourself for trying your best. You can't blame everyone else around you for just doing everything they could to try to survive the hell that is war. And you can't blame the nation too, because it offered you a chance to try and do something. As much as that would be, so many have, self included at a time. So there will be no blame. That's simply a simple theory thing, but possible practice by some. Now, I know you said you have accepted, but have you truly accepted those things?
I don't think I'll be truly accept them, gain some sort of control. This thing happens. It doesn't feel
Fully
like
grant
me when
both.
it does. I want to be able to use it effectively for good and not lose control of it.
Because you have erratic behavior sometimes that makes you hyper aroused in a sense. Not of the lecherous sense, but hyper aroused and overstimulation, aggression, such a thing.
I don't think I quite caught the context of the question there.
It's it's a part of traumatic stress. It's literally called hyper arousal. Is it hyper arousal of the sense of some kind? Aggressive behavior, sudden onset, depression, panic, paranoia, random things.
They definitely would have hypersensitive hearing, which is one of the reasons they have their ears like pierced in such a way to basically paralyze them, so it dampens their hearing. And they would definitely be paranoid, as we've seen.
So you do face this problem, right? Afraid. Try and be yourself, because if you do, you might slip into an episode.
Have a little control over it right now, where I can laugh with people and their jokes, and I can generally enjoy the presence of a happy memory, but it becomes very difficult to stay the same with a loud explosion. That's what I'm afraid of. I
The sounds of war.
sounds. And here I am, an adventurer with a gun lance in the party.
You want to control that great monster in your head that every time you feel those, hear those things, it brings it back a little and you're scared. Might hurt someone that actually matters.
Yeah,
And to avoid that, you stifle your emotion. You don't let yourself be happy or sad or manic a little bit or like a lot of your fellow species zealous around the opposite sex and things like that. You just stay monotonous and very gray to everything.
well, Fionn, that seemed like how I am. Y'all,
On
y'all.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
now,
Have you been talking?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, yeah, we didn't hear any of that.
And what was the last thing you said?
Uh, The psychiatrist was basically reaffirming that Naibai tries to be gray and neutral towards everything, and Naibai, knowing that she's held like actual conversations with you with like emotional context to them, she's asking if she seems that way to you. Someone she actually like opened up to a little.
Beyond,
Um,
well, for the most part, when you're around everyone else, seem to be staying neutral to most situations, but a little time I got to spend with while we were at home, you, I saw a different side of you, and I really did enjoy that.
and from your friend here. By the way, out of character. Oh my god, I know exactly where you're going next for Naibai's health
Oh, okay.
because a certain somebody is listening in.
Oh no,
What?
eavesdroppers! How dare! This is
Yes,
supposed to
there
be
is an
confidential.
eavesdropper. It is, but well, one of them just doesn't give a shit, and the other one is genuinely concerned. Like they don't. It's not that they don't give a shit about Naibai, but they cared little to nothing. Actually, they care absolutely nothing about rules because rules are made to be broken. I wonder who they get that from, Ivy.
I
Um,
Yeah.
wonder.
and yeah, but yeah, okay. So, aside from your friend there, is there anyone in the guild, even if they're not a party member, whose interactions with you make you happy a little? Someone who waves, hugs, gives you treats, just in general is polite, that you feel like has your best interest at heart.
What's the guy with multiple arms name?
Yoi.
Yeah, Suyoi.
Do you?
Are you talking about Suyoi or Mons? Because they both
Well,
do that, and she's actually a little confused now.
okay, well, so I didn't know that you knew a great sculptor and artist, but I was not surprised that even Steve is nice to everyone. I've done an evaluation. It's not malevolent. He's just pure of heart, and it breaks my soul. In confidentiality. But I suppose, yes, Suyoi. Or if you could somehow get a hold of Mons, then the sculpture figure and the giant that he is. You could also open up to them a little. But since you have been here for some time today, best to pace these interactions while you think. Go ahead and just leave you on this note of take a minute to consider. Would you rather risk? Oh, let me restart that. Are you okay with living a life of neutrality, of blank, expressionless, devoid of any joy or happiness because you're afraid to hurt someone, or would you rather just risk the chance that you might hurt them while you actually live your life, but your friends would probably be with you through thick and thin, even if you had a moment like that. Now, you don't have to respond now, just let that take a day or two to simmer in your mind and come back when you're ready. No rush, I'm here to help. If you want to take a week and return, that's fine. If you want to tell me no and never return, you can do that too. But I would just feel best that you take a moment since you've told me a lot and I know it was difficult and need a moment to emotionally resettle. Take that with you as you go about your day.
Nearby will stand up and bow to them again politely. Motion for Leon to join.
Theon would stand up and give the doctor wave goodbye and head out with Naibai.
Damn, I didn't expect to get an actual therapy treatment at the end there. Like, that neutrality thing is something I actually deal with on a daily basis. Because, like,
You're welcome.
even with you guys, I, like, for pretty much the entire time that I'm interacting with people outside, I'm pretty fucking neutral about everything that's going on. I've got terse remarks for things that people say to me that are rude, and I can, like, get creative with it. And then if they're nice, I'll be nice back to them. Basically a mirror just reflecting everything back at people. And, you know, I'm not stupid about it. Like, if someone's pissed, I'm not just gonna be pissed back at them. But for the most part, it's just like, I don't even open up to you guys, but the persona I do for, like, interacting with you people is a lot more enjoyable than reality. Because if I actually acted the way I am, then I'd probably either already be dead or in jail. So I've already decided that it's just safer for everyone involved to be this way.
I'm gonna give. I want you to know that you won't bother me. 2/3 of my living family is in prison. I'm not talking removed. And trace them through one cousin. 2/3 of them are either in prison or dead.
Damn, that is a mangled part of the family tree, isn't it?
We met, well, I wasn't, and my immediate family wasn't, but several of them may or may not have been involved in racketeering, drug trafficking, human schmafficking, and other things like that for decades from the 60s to the 90s. We're Irish, we're ambitious. Anyways,
You see an opportunity and you take it. That's sometimes it leads you down a good path, not so always.
came over here on our potato boats.
Literally, potato. You ate it on the way.
Listen, there wasn't much left after the famine. But yeah. All right.
Okay, we can continue now after that big reveal that nobody on YouTube's gonna find because, oh my god, this is like 200 episodes in.
One person will find it.
I kind of wondered how far in we were.
It's probably
So-
not actually 200. I haven't been keeping track.
I think it's 100 and I want to say 48.
Something like that, probably. But yeah, like, one person's gonna be watching all of these looking for dirt on, like, some shit that I've said, like, on Twitter or whatever, like, trying to look up something like, oh, look at this person, they're so racist, they're this, that, and the other thing, like, you should stop supporting their products, and it's like...
Then you've got Shadow.
Then you got Shadow. Shadow, the
Yeah,
alleged
God.
racist, and
Oh,
Ivy,
right.
the alleged zoo, and then fucking Les, the alleged human trafficker, and then me.
No, Les is the alleged. No, Les is gonna be the alleged crime lord.
I have
Just all
orchestrated
the crime.
illegal. By the by, would you like to buy a box of McNuggets that fell off of somebody's truck?
No, you're right. Les doesn't do any of the illegal stuff themselves. They're just in charge.
Allegedly.
The
Allegedly.
ringleader.
The
Alleged
kingpin.
ringleader.
The kingpin legend ringleader. Legend of
I
the
will,
Ring.
I will neither confirm nor deny these accusations and just call them alleged allegories. Alright, so.
Allegedly. Takes 4 people to hold down an ostrich.
Allegedly. Take caution. They were allegedly.
That will
Okay, fuck
never
it.
not
Right.
pop into my head whenever someone says allegedly. Just
I'm
ostrich.
telling you, Letterkenny just.
The first season of Leonard Kenny was good, especially that first episode.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite things from that series. How are you now? Good, and you? Oh, not so bad.
God, one of my favorites gotta be, what the fuck are you taking your shirt off for?
That's gotta be the most backward ass fight Patrick I've ever seen.
He's squaring up to start fighting, starts taking his fucking shirt off.
Take your shirt off, you should leave your sunglasses on. That's gotta be the most backward ass Patrick I've ever seen.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
Oh fuck you, Jonesy. Alright, it's gonna be too. Fucking, I'm telling you. Oh my god, it's like
And I was
what the fuck I do is like you've been telling people. It's like you've been saying. I can't remember what he says. Like I didn't say that, you fucking dumbasses. But it's like what I did say is that your breath fucking stinks. Fuck you. Oh fuck you. All right. It's like your breath stinks so goddamn bad. I'll tell you. Your breath stinks so goddamn bad. It'll bring a semi truck to a full stop. I'll tell that the whole damn word if I can. And everybody's,
oh
you,
yeah,
fuck all you
oh yeah,
losers,
this
you
is
guys.
the guy
Your
that
life is so goddamn yeah.
this
Your lives are so
Get
goddamn
moving.
boring. Can I get a charity check just for hanging out with you motherfuckers?
while he's pissing from the doorway.
I love Shorzy. It's just the dude that plays Wayne, just doing that voice, and
Mhm.
like that's his whole character is just
Give your balls a tug, kick fuck.
little shit fucker. God, I fucking love.
Okay,
Oh god.
moving on.
The scene where like they finally finished the new fruit stand and it gets burned like literally within the same episode.
Yeah. I will say, at least in that show, when they're working on one project for like several episodes, there's a reason why it's not getting complete.
Yeah.
Instead of like Stewie staying the same age for fucking 12 years. All right,
200 episodes.
yeah, God. If I ever make a show, the characters are gonna age.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just make
They're
it
gonna
live
age.
action.
No, well, I mean, yeah, but no, like, and I'm not gonna do some bullshit like Fairy does, like, oh, they were stuck on an island for 7 years and everybody else grew up. Like, just because you were stuck on it, no, it's like age, you aged.
Time is
I-
exists.
Time exists. When you were reintroduced to the time stream, it will catch back up to you. Oh shit, I feel older. Anyways.
Well, I don't know about that. Your cells will definitely have like gone through the replication process and you will have aged, but I don't know if like traveling to the future means all of that time just gets compacted.
Well, true. Anyways. So, Naiba and the cat do actually exit the peaceful, calm psychiatrist office. And then Faraji just casually slides an arm around Fion's shoulder and starts pulling him along. Come on, we're gonna go get some. And then Mob will place a hand on Naibai's shoulder.
Hello.
Come with me.
Oh, okay. What's going on? Someone in danger?
Don't worry. I'm gonna go pack your thing.
Am I getting kicked out of the guild?
No, we're just gonna go take. Don't worry.
How long of a trip?
Well, I say by water, it's about a month, but I think I know the way to get us there faster.
Okay. That Naibai will not resist. They're gonna go get their stuff. Thanks. Well, except for the silkworms, because I think, didn't they die?
Sadly, yes. They don't live that long.
Yeah, they don't. She wasn't around to make sure that they bred into like more of them this time, so that's all they got. They got the 2 silk deposits out of them, and that's it. They're not a good farmer. Leaving your yield behind for months at an end typically doesn't end well.
Not exactly, no.
The Taylor goblins are a-okay. So Mob will have you get your things ready, but he's going to inform you that we're wait till tomorrow for when your weapons are done. All your weapons are done. It's a good turnaround time, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't they have
there are
other
a lot of
orders
people
to
that-
take care of?
They work on smaller orders like yours first.
To get them out of the way. It's like if you go to Taco Bell and you order something up at the counter, they're gonna make if you order one taco, they're gonna make that one taco before they make somebody who ordered before you and ordered 50 of them.
The Chalupa Supreme.
Yeah, it's like that. So
Chalupa
how it works
Ultima.
is you have the 4 sons, and then you have the father. The father is usually not doing anything, and the 4 sons do all the work. Really, it's just the 3 younger sons. It's like the eldest son is in charge 99% of the time, and when it's something big and important, he will work on it. Like you guys' order, he worked on, and that's why it gets done fast because it was him and then the second oldest son work at a relatively fast pace. But if they have a big order from like an osmium, then the father will work on that around the clock while they do everything else. So you're not keeping like any elite adventurers' orders from getting completed because the father is deeper in the forge working on it with the master smith gear, which only he can use because it only registers to a single smith at a time.
So I know you mean like in the back rooms where people can't see them, but in my mind, the first thing that popped into head was just like literally inside the forge.
No, no, you're not wrong.
Oh fuck,
He's
really?
he's inside a room-sized forge. Yes. So
Damn, when you need the power of the
they're
sun.
bastards. Just so you know, they're bastards. They're half infernal, half elf, and their father is almost he's a full-on infernal. So
Oh,
he
so
smiths things. He
they're like
maintains heat.
double resistant to heat. Okay.
Yeah, they're not. So yeah, he's not in the forge that you see, but there is another part of the guild. Like if you go behind it, you would have noticed this constantly. On the second level, there's like this enormous vent that just kind of goes up and at an angle. That's entirely to spit out that heat, so it doesn't burn the guild to the ground. And when it's starting up, which is something that a lot of young adventurers really like to do, is they like to go out there, sit there in the early mornings, and watch it fire up in the morning, and watch it spit out a gout of flame as it kicks up.
Nice.
He's
Breakfast
actually back
and a
there.
chill.
I imagine the pipe has a whole bunch of hot do not touch signs on it.
It literally has engraved on it, "Do not touch. This will burn you to death, and it will hurt the entire time." Like
It will hurt
because
the
forge,
entire time.
forge works. Of the 37 hours a day, 23 of them it is on. That is not enough time for it to cool down entirely, but that is enough time for it to cool down and regain its strength, material-wise. So yeah, that's Forge is always going on, and he's actively doing that right now with main orders. So yours will be done by tomorrow. But Mob will tell Naibai that he's going to take her to someone who he thinks can help. By the way, Shadow's done. He's very exhausted. He's hurt, but he's up about 180 levels.
100,
Oh.
damn, that is a lot.
He also is.
180.
He's also currently having to be healed by Joanna because he now knows what it's like to lose both of your legs. And Gloria poked fun. He's also got the emotional trauma of Gloria poking fun at him the entire time because she chose to wear him on her chest like a baby. Yeah, while they're traveling back, she was just poke at the baby, poke at the baby, poke at the baby, poke at the baby.
Not a
While she's getting
baby.
hard.
Losing
And
a-
that was who?
Gloria.
Oh, I got that, but who was she teasing?
Oh, Shadow.
Shadow.
'Cause
Shadow,
she didn't have
Shadow.
legs.
Oh,
She had Shadow's legs in a bag, and him in a little harness on her chest that they had brought just in case one of them lost limbs. Because none of them can graft. All they could do is stop the bleeding and freeze his legs so they didn't rot.
Mhm.
But you got Joanna and Ivy, so they can heal your legs fine.
Shadow would be happy to see Ivy again.
Yeah, sure, not
Hi,
giant
Ivy.
scarab mommy. Ooh, Ivy.
Giant scarab mommy. Oh, but big fox booba.
you got Booba
He'd be
Fox
happy
and
to see
Sarah
both of them. Yes, he'd be happy to see both of them.
I mean, Ivy's a good healer, but Joanna's a literal angel who can restore lost limbs like it's nothing. But okay, fine.
Okay, fine, if you want to do it the slow way.
I'm just gonna shut up.
I know, just teasing. We gotta teach Shadow. Anytime it comes to just Shadow, he has to be.
Look, you agreed to let us do this a long time ago.
I know.
You signed up for the game. You therefore signed away your right to complain.
No,
Alright.
yeah, so they did it twice actually, because they when they signed up for the game, they agreed, and then like we all asked them, like, are you okay with us like bullying you like this? We'll stop if you say no. It's like, no, they're cool with it.
Yeah.
Yes. If at any point it gets uncomfortable, it's fine. I'll pick somebody else to bully, like Ivy.
Yeah, I haven't been bullied this time. I was supposed to be the Shadow. I even got an injured character pre-made.
Yeah, I've bullied you.
Yeah, you have. Not as bad as we teased Shadow though.
Raji constantly remarks how short you are.
Yeah.
Raji doesn't discriminate though. It's short. Oh, he told that to an Osmium. I don't know. Short. Great observation, dumbass. Well played.
So with
And
that
just left.
180 level boost, Shadow's now up to 343.
Studios?
Yeah.
Go make Halo.
You just got fucking Gloria. I'm back. And she just walks over and throws Ivy over her shoulder. Come on.
So what, is Shadow still connected to her, or did they drop him off after he was healed?
Literally dropped him off on the table so Joanna can heal him.
Ow!
He picked up Ivy, left out the door, and went to their house with him.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure you'd actually be able to feel the pain of your legs. That much pain in one spot usually tells the brain to like, yeah, you don't need to feel that right now. Focus on surviving.
I'm pretty sure everything else hurt from being dropped on a table.
Well, there's also the fact that you got punched by a golem, and its fist was as wide as your torso. So you might have some deep tissue bruising and a couple of broken ribs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Organ bruising is the worst,
Yeah,
because you can't...
I'm hurting. I'm
Yeah.
Shadow. Literally, Drake. Watch Drake get an axe from shoulder to groin and kept fighting with the one arm that wasn't floppy spaghetti.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Also watched him heal it back. Oh. And you could hear that little bit of anger. No, yeah. No. He still has that little bit of his crazy in there that's gone, that he's got under control, that he's managed to put to rest. But every once in a while, as he's healing from a severe wound, it kind of... Because he has, like, Mob takes damage after he heals. That's kind of the trade-off. He can heal back severe damage, like having, his arm cut off. He'll grow that arm back in a couple, maybe 5 or 6 rounds. But then he's going to take, I think it's it's a fourth of that damage will be unhealable for the rest of the turn, like combat, because he hurts to grow it back. He feels the cells growing, so he feels the pain in reverse.
How is he not a ball of cancer?
Oh, because one, cursed regeneration. It's basically a literal curse from the world that prevents you from dying. It's kind of sort of a sadistic punishment that has been passed on from father to son, and also zombie, which means he's technically already dead, but because of his cursed regeneration, he's held together.
Yeah, but that wouldn't prevent cancer. Cancer is just a mutation of those cells. Deadpool's all cancer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that thing is, unlike Deadpool, his cancer didn't mutate with him.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
His cells regrow faster than cancer mutates. That's why Deadpool has cancer and he can't get rid of his cancer. It wasn't, oh, he got cancer. No, he had the cancer when he went through it, and those cancer cells were subjected to the same super manipulation through genetics that he was. Therefore, it made super cancer fighting super regeneration. It would just be normal cancer trying to fight his ridiculous healing, and it's going to lose because it can't corrupt cells as fast enough.
Yeah, it is actually kind of a slow process.
Yeah. I mean, when he's dividing hundreds of millions of cells every second, and cancer needs to it spreads throughout months. It takes it like 2 months to, spread out fucking 2 billion cells.
His killer defense cells must be like super jacked.
Yeah, Mob hasn't ever once been sick. The only time he was sick is when he was psychologically tricked into being sick by Fuyu.
Oh, rude.
Well, it's because
Sin?
Sin got sick, and Mob didn't understand it, so he basically tricked him into thinking he was sick until Sin got better.
Oh, okay, that's a different context.
Yeah.
So funny.
So what did he do? My dad was talking to me.
He psychologically
Mob?
placeboed Mob into being sick.
Yeah, when he was a kid. I think it was like 3 when he did
Yeah,
that to him.
But how did he do that?
A little bit of manipulation through magic, but almost pure psychological manipulation. He convinced Mob that he was also coming down with a cold like Sin was. So he also inherently, because he thought, that's kind of, again, partially how his healing works, is because he thought he was a little bit sick and he was getting a mild cold, he ended up creating a cold that he couldn't just heal from. So he spent about 5 days with a runny nose and a cough just like Sin. And that's one of the ways that they bonded, is because their dads just put them in the same room while they were sick. I'd like to point out that 3-year-old Mob still punched. I just want you to know that. Mob has been able to punch and been able to articulate a fist.
So, before birth, then.
Yeah, no, Vega hated him inside the womb because she swears he didn't kick, he punched. She was walking one day and tripped because she swears up and down Mob punched her in the spine.
Damn, that is like...
Not a heavy bag, you little bastard!
that is actually... That's like... Sometimes there's a kidney in the way, there's definitely intestine in the way.
Yeah, she blames that entirely on her husband for being fucking ripped. Like, it's his genetics is the reason that their son was a violent
That reminds me, I think it was my mom that said that when she was pregnant with me, every once in a while I would just like grab her ribs. She's like, it's the most uncomfortable feeling.
Hell, that's actually why Drake was afraid to train her sex while his wife was like late term pregnant. He was 100% confident that Mob would punch him in the dick.
Get out of here, old man.
That's just right on.
Well, that's
just
like
right on the tip.
When Mob is 100% uncut, like that is his tell. When he's 100% not okay with something that's going on, he will punch. Normally, he's just nothing really bothers him, but when something is just like no, or he's just when you've truly upset him, it's not even like it's just a jab, just ah.
No.
It's weird. You can tell the emotion he's experiencing through his knuckles.
Oh, he speaks fist.
He does speak fist, yes.
Bonjour.
Faraji, aside from Sin, I think Faraji is the only person who can tell what he's thinking based on the level and like the degree of punch he's received.
Wait, can he have an entire conversation via punch?
He has with Faraji. Oh my eye! You're upset. Why? I'm sorry. You know it was your cookie. Okay, I knew it. I'm lying. I'm sorry. Wait.
So,
there's a whole bit in the Crudes 2 about punch monkeys and all that.
I should watch that. All right, let's get back to it. They rose around.
Where did Faraji?
Don't worry about it.
Took you to get your stuff put together too.
Yeah, road trip.
He also took you to help him come and convince Suyoi that they need him to set the way chamber to there where they need to go, or where Mob wants to go, and also to teach them how to use them to get back.
Wait, didn't you say that only Osmiums were allowed to operate that thing?
Yes, Suyu is an osmium.
Wouldn't it be
So
breaking
that's
the rules to let them operate it?
to operate the
Highly.
way chamber itself to send somebody somewhere. Yes, but not if they get Suyu to do it. As for a return, technically, since you can only use them to return to it once, and they know who has them most of the time.
Oh, so they're going to use a pocket stone. Okay. I'm thinking that they're going to a different waypoint.
Nah, they're not gonna go to another guild and try and get them to send them between guild to guild. No, they just wanna. So Mob has an idea, but his idea might not work. Rather, it would work, but even with fastest land, like fastest route of travel, it could take a month. And given the time crunch you're on, he doesn't know if anybody would be willing to do it. He believes it's worth it though because it's for the help of another party member.
Another party member. Oh yeah.
Geez, we've only been in a party with these people for how long?
Yeah, but
No, really, how long? I have no idea.
oh shit. Oh fuck, guys! It's almost been a year since you guys started adventuring.
Damn. And I still don't even know half of their names. That is entirely my brain's fault. If I could actually remember names, I would.
Got a lot of these. Ah, there's rain. Forest.
Oh, oui, baguette. Je mange la poire.
No, not that one.
No, not the
Make me sad.
vaporwave rain. Do 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 do. Fucking starts playing Fairlies. Wait, is this Witcher music?
It's shit by Mon Plaisir, so maybe. Mon Plaisir makes some interesting music. Alright.
Maybe they just used the same hurdy-gurdy synth.
No, he plays all of his like with traditional instruments.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay, so that's actual... That's probably a violin then.
He's a very skilled artist. Alright, next day rolls around and you do get your stuff. Please remind me of everything that was made for you. I hope you wrote down your entire list, because I seem to have misplaced mine.
Okay,
Okay, now here, I think I can find it. Just give me a second. Okay.
Okay.
No, hold on. I gotta get the cushiony blankety up under my ass, because the bed's sinking more and more every day, and
Okay, so I'm missing 1/3 of the mithril cloth that would have gone towards the sling, along with some of the ingredients to make it burn
alright.
and accelerate.
So we were making armor for Fionn out of Mineraloopy, right?
Yeah, we're making a armor for Fionn, some arrows for Fionn, a sling for Naibai, a great blade for Bob, a dagger for Beatrice.
It's the curvy kind.
A new saw.
Yeah, a new saw for Naibai.
And
Yeah.
a hat
And
for
two
both.
hats for Beatrice and Naibai.
Yeah.
I will be right back. Been
Oh.
drinking all this pop, and now I'm dancing.
Okay.
Okay, Fred.
Ivy attempts to not do as the label says.
Mhm. What does the label say again?
Pop.
Yeah. He put the mesh chief in his shoulder.
Put the mischief in the suit. Watching my videos will actively reduce your IQ.
And hey, you hear that noise in the background?
The whistling noise or the ringing noise?
Neither. Because it is quiet here.
Huh.
Are you talking about inside the smithy?
No, here in the hotel.
Why are you in a hotel? All right, drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
might
but since
have
you're
to.
hanging outside of the you're hanging outside of the smithy though. Don't worry, I got you, buddy.
I'm. I might have tetanus. Wait, tinnitus.
What?
Tarantulas? Toblerone.
Tachanka.
A real set of hadunkas.
I even know about Conquerors.
I'm talking some real globetrotters.
So we're gonna wait for Ivy to get back so we can get her knife and saw.
We're also waiting for the DM to generate our gear.
Yeah. You just no. No, just don't worry. I've got it. Are you sure you've got it? I think I'd listen. 30% of the time, I'm always wrong. I swear sometimes with you fucking idiots. Hello. Sorry, getting everything done.
Oh yes, cool.
You can see the morning occurrence of younger, a lot of the adventurers, both, some men and some women, just kind of calmly sitting over there in the corner. You don't know what they're waiting on, but boy, are they staring. Because you've got the middle son right now who's sitting at the counter doing a lot of the social work. The eldest son's over there. And then you can piece it together. That's who they're staring at. Because actively shirtless, and you realize, Jesus Christ, he's ripped, and he's not even an adventurer. He swings a fucking 20-pound hammer all damn day.
Oh no, he's hot.
He's got that real
He's literally
strength.
he's got tan skin from all the fucking heat. And the fact that he's not human. You can witness his grip strength when he grabs he's got a larger anvil right now on the ground that he needs to move to where he's at. So he just kind of grips it by the horn with his fingers, picks it up, does the same to the smaller anvil, and swaps them out so he can use it. That was with his fingers.
You know, people usually have machines for that.
He is the machine.
He hit the machine.
God damn it, you idiots.
No, that's our meme.
Beyond
He hit the machine.
He is the machine.
No, I wasn't
Shut
talking
up.
in character, so you just kind of randomly belted out.
I know, I don't care.
He is the machine. The machine all he wants around me. Stop it.
So wait, if these are the machines, should we be fighting against them or raging against them?
Jessen, I am on it. The youngest son will just kind of sprint up and spray the groups that are currently being fucking thirsty right in the face with which you can feel it. That's cold water. Calm down.
Spritz spritz.
Does that include Fiona?
Yes.
Do they have a
Yeah.
back that says no horny on it?
They have a sign that literally says, "Please do not drool over my sons." We're getting the last of your weapons put together. Don't worry. Just finish work. Want them to look shiny and pretty. Shiny, sparkly, stabby sticks make adventurers come back. It's true.
Hey, it's good for business.
So I'm just giving you all this here, but it's taking me a minute to stat it real fast.
Yeah. When you mentioned sparkly, shiny makes adventurers come back, the first thing that came to mind was the bag of holding used, full of glitter.
Just completely full of glitter and nothing else.
The thing about glitter is,
Yeah.
like, it multiplies itself, so you have to empty the bag of holding once in a while.
Just periodically dump all the glitter out.
Or, like, they do rupture, it'll explode. So, either you have lots of small glitter bombs or one huge one. God, that would be a very expensive prank to play in Wizarding College.
Yeah, it would be. Please don't.
I made this tiny bag of holding and put a couple of grams of glitter in there. It should be just about to
Glitter
pop.
in
I'm
it.
gonna put it in Remington's desk.
And then just
Just in the middle of class. Poof.
Just boom.
everything is sparkly pink.
Remington, what the fuck did you do? I don't know. I was just doing quadratic equations. This isn't math class. It's homework. I forgot.
I forgot to do it last night.
God. Okay, magical homework would be absolutely the worst. You can't just, like, whip that out in the middle of, like, the bus ride to school, you know? You can't just be like, okay, so I need the foot of a crow and lizard's tail. Does anyone have a spare cauldron?
Well, in this country, even if you're going to like beginner school as like a youth for magic, you're going to be like living at the school. That's one of the caveats, is because of the dangers of magic. You need to have somebody around who can nullify it or
Yeah,
deal with
I
it
could
at all
imagine.
times.
I'm just thinking
So,
of this, like, modern era situation where, like, students that are just going to magic college because it's a state requirement, and they're just, like, on the bus going there, just like, did anyone do the homework last night? Can I copy your potion? Let me just transmute this real quick. Oh, yeah, of course. I'll change it a little bit so it looks different. See, mine's
all right.
purple.
Let's see. I mean, try that. Yeah.
I'm sure the teachers are able to tell which students just copied another student's potion in that event. It's like, they just let it slide.
They're doing work. Not the right kind of work, but they're doing work.
They're doing something. The system was invented as a way of teaching you how to game it.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
You're not really wrong. They don't actually teach you anything useful at school. The whole point is, how effectively can you act like you know what you're doing?
All right, so we got him a full set of armor. We got a great blade from Mob. I believe that was made out of a little bit of that. Right. Okay. So first we had a dagger for Beatrice. So we'll get that, which was being made out of that crystal, I think.
Wasn't it a stinger?
No,
Oh
Yeah, it was
yes, it
made
was one of the stabby. Yes, that's right.
because the great blade was being made out of the red crystal.
Well-
Yes, a lot of okay.
I thought she was saving the giant crystal.
It's a giant crystal, yeah.
Yeah, so she was saving that for
So-
Janaya to work on because Janaya is the best of the best.
She's saving the orichalcum for her to work
Don't worry,
on.
Calcum for that.
I thought they were saving both.
Well, yeah, both.
I knew they were saving the orichalcum for her, and I thought we were saving the crystal too.
They were using. Okay, so I know they're using.
Wasn't one of the items like a gift?
Yeah, the dagger was basically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they really wanted to work with that. Because you had a little bit of that fire opal Sepians left, and a greater wireless stinger that had been untouched.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they wanted to try and okay.
They're like, I want to work with this and see what I can make with it. Who's poking me?
My poke.
Fuck, I totally forgot to check my phone.
I am making tea.
Somebody has messaged me with, guess what? So I responded with,
Porn.
what?
They gave it a name.
Look, breathe.
Remember, kids, walking around with a singular crowbar is more suspicious than walking around with.
Lost the dissolution.
This is a great time to not pause the video you're watching and take a bathroom break.
Yeah. We're gonna
Oh,
change it to Smithy
oh,
sounds
man.
because we're switching off the big stuff. All right. I like that he also named mobs. He had fun with making these big ones.
That's good.
Yeah.
Under fire.
Hey, you don't type, I type.
I'm trying to click on something.
Multiple people are typing. Not only are green bananas edible, eating them before they're ripe comes with surprising benefits for your blood sugar and gut health.
See, I
Nice.
like bananas when they have a little bit of green to them. I think they taste better.
I like them that way too. They're a little more firm, and once they start turning brown, they're better for like smoothies and stuff.
Banana bread and stuff.
Yeah, ice cream. stuff like that.
Y'all are making me hungry. I'm gonna have to go get me something to eat.
Stuff you could just throw in the
I mean, believe it or
microwave.
not,
Drink it like a soup. You guys ever do that? Do you just drink your ice cream instead of eating it?
yes, it's called
Usually
making a
by the
milkshake.
time that I'm getting down to the end, I kind of need to do that.
I made a banana peanut butter milkshake one day with vanilla
Okay,
ice
so
cream.
we got armor for Fionn, great blade for Mob, dagger for Ivy, saw blade and sling for
Standby.
Standby, right?
Yep.
And the
Okay.
arrows for Fionn.
That's what I was forgetting. The arrows, yeah.
Arrows, yes.
Didn't they make like 40 of them or something?
I think I made 100.
100 and, yeah, it was 100 and something, wasn't it?
Oh, it might have been 140. All right, hold on. I'll
Oh,
try to remember in a second.
I know why I'm thinking of 40, because that's the D&D quiver size. Yeah.
Oh,
Because I got invited to play D&D, so I skimmed through the rules for free real quick, and I'm like, oh yeah, I still hate these rules. Literally played a singular session, I'm just like, nah, I do not vibe with these. I'm making my own system with blackjack and hookers. And I did!
yeah, you did.
Nobody
Actually,
plays
Forget
it.
the hookers.
Imperial. No, don't forget the hookers. I like the hookers.
I like the hookers too. We included lust system for the hookers.
Hey,
You
we're
could,
not in the part of
Blackjack
the
then.
world where you have to worry about the loss system, though, so don't worry.
Yeah.
I can absolutely imagine one of my Gumiho characters being a hooker just to steal life from people.
Yep.
So I will ask, after Dark's getting done DMing their one that we do next, are you guys want to go with another sci-fi, or do you want to see this same world, but with your current characters as more badasses?
More badasses.
You know, I am really kind of up for both. I tend to lean more toward fantasy, but I think
Well,
it's just because I'm out of practice with sci-fi. I used to do that a lot at first.
Either way, I'm just saying now. You'll see the next big bad, and there are some juicy, unexpected things that I haven't even remotely hinted at. Well, I've put them in the background, and only the most astute would put two and two together.
I
But
figured
there
it
are
out, but
things
that's
that
cheating. My brain's connected to yours.
okay, so it was made out of her slang was made out of the wireless and I believe some of the Sepians with mithril.
Yeah, and mithril.
Well. Oh man, they didn't name it. Stupid freaking Fletcher.
Oh, you mean it's got an open naming slot? I could get to name it all what I want?
I mean, yeah, you can name it if you want.
I'm sure I'll come up with a name eventually.
You know what? I might actually have Nai meet by Nai at some point in the future. Just meet the other her.
Wow, you look just like me, except all the colors are backwards.
Mind blown.
Well, they'll like start doing that mirror trick where they raise their right hand and the other person raises their left hand and they mime each other.
See, this is why you use monster bits. No, you'll see why you use monster bits in a second.
Does Fionn's armor have a name, or is the naming slot open for that?
You can rename it. It's just currently it's called Agile Medial Mineral Loopy Armor or AMM. You can name your armors and stuff to whatever you want. You just gotta, go in your inventory and be like, rename,
name.
which is, can take time because it's kind of hard. The only reason that these two weapons came with a pre-name is because he had an idea like what he wanted. He wanted to keep them themed to what they are. The other son is also really fucking good at his job.
Real life biologist and hiker playing ranger.
So you're looking at some of the memes, huh?
Yeah, I just saw that one.
The memes are funny as always.
Night by slings, we're gonna call this one. This is gonna be your Sepians. You're gonna see what it can do.
I like to forward like stuff that makes me think of good themes and stuff, settings and weapons and all that.
Oh,
So
did you
that's
guys
why
watch
you see random things like the guy with the giant samurai sword and stuff.
Double triple true triple.
I
Punk
also
Naga is a
forwarded.
setting you want to see?
What's it?
Punk Naga is a setting you want to see?
That could be cool, but I have forwarded a couple of things because of things like that. Like, yeah, that would be a cool character. That would be a cool theme for a thing. That would be cool. What you call it? But the snake lady I forwarded just because I thought that pretty much everyone would like, especially Kevin.
I usually forward things that I find funny or generally interesting. Sometimes that's porn if it's a unique position or something.
Yeah, it's I tend to forward funny and interesting things too. I saw that one too.
Oh, did I send that one already?
I don't know if you sent it, but I saw it somewhere.
I saw this one like a long time ago. This is one of those original copy pastas.
All right, Fion's bow was made out of. They did take your Wilgix fang, by the way.
Oh,
It's made out of, I
I think they
believe.
used a lot of that powder
They
for
used
it.
pretty much every bit of your stuff.
I was gonna say he got a bow made too.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Use the scraps.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
He used like he asked if anybody needed everything else out of the group pile and had a bow
yeah,
made.
and they used basically all what was left of the all of the greater wireless Cisp and one of the greater Mineral Loopy tails.
Mhm.
And now we swap back to the other blacksmith noises.
Surround yourself with
Oh,
positive peoples.
I love this bow's name.
The bow.
Yes, they gave it a name.
Ooh.
It's clever for what it's made of.
Let's see. I'm interested in seeing everything. Honestly.
You'll be happy.
I
No, I mean even the other stuff.
have to forward this one because I think you guys will like it.
Oh. I like that. That's good.
They have given you a labo.
Okay.
They call them labos because labos, like a ley line, but a labo is like a magical longbow. Yeah. But don't worry, that's not the clever part of its name.
mm.
So you're about to see why you want to always be adventuring and getting as many monster bits as you can, and why you want to fight more dangerous monsters. You also see why someone like Suyoi could have gone into any of these dungeons that you were in and flicked something in there and killed it because of his weaponry. Then again, his body is a weapon. Oh yeah, that little video I sent earlier with like Ashura's Wrath stuff. Did you watch that?
Yeah. Yes.
So the too long didn't read of that whole game. Basically, all the horrible shit that happens in there is because Chakravanti wants to find an heir, and Ashura does not agree with the fact that he thought it was 100% okay to put him, his family, and everyone he considered his friends in the entire world through such tremendous suffering for over 12,000 years. That's why I also will die on the hill that Ashura could easily, well, not say easy, he's one of the only characters that could whoop Son Goku's ass. And I know Sun Wukong, but Ashura fought Chakravanti. Chakravanti is essentially supposed to be Brahma, Shiva, and fucking Vishnu. The three of them are greater in power than Buddha. Buddha could kick Sun Wukong's ass, therefore, I'm just saying. Anyway, it's moving on.
Wait, someone's actually stronger than Buddha?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Brahma, Vishnu. So Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, they're the supreme gods of Hindu.
Damn, I got that all backwards. Okay.
Buddha was not the first.
No, I know
No,
he
it was
wasn't the
Brahma.
first. I just thought, like, people mentioned them so often. It's
He's
like, oh,
one
they
of
must
the
be the
strongest.
strongest.
He's one of the strongest, but he's not stronger. Shiva was so strong he gave Ravana immunity to death at the hands of any other devas or asuras. That's why that's why Brahma exists.
Rama.
One of the reincarnations of Vishnu, because he came down reincarnated as Vishnu to kill Ravana and keep the Demon King from destroying the world. That's how much power Shiva, one of the three supreme gods, have. Is he can make someone immune to the gods.
What a way to propose your love. Only I'm allowed to kill you.
Well, technically, you're not wrong. Ravana literally made a bunch of sacrifices in Shiva's glory, and like thousands and thousands of great sacrifices of mighty warriors and trusted adversary, shit like that, to earn his just enough of his affection to be granted that boon. A wonderful story. I just type in I don't remember what it's called. It's the Mahibatra maybe or something. I don't know. I might be something else, but just type in Rama and Ravana on YouTube. See if you can find the full audio document. It's just a fascinating story.
This is what I like about our sessions. Other game sessions, they're just like, yeah, let's focus on the story or combat or something else. And us, they're just like, here's an interesting real life fact that you can go actually look up.
I mean, yeah.
Like how they have microchips small enough to be injected. That's a real thing now.
Yeah, they won't survive in the body though.
No, they don't survive very long, but it's still a thing that can happen, and they can monitor a decently sized area of the body, not the whole thing, but
they've been doing that for 12 years, and those specific microchips they're talking about, they basically use it to inject it in there to get a little bit of information about your internals to see how fucked up you are from a disease, because they only last like 11, 12 hours at most,
Yeah.
and then you shit them out.
It's
But
not like
it's
those
long enough that they're
GPS
getting a good
pills.
look at it's long enough that they're getting a good look at the level of X or Y that you're currently experiencing by like on a microscopic scale.
They're made out of like degradable materials on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, once your macrophages latch on to one of them, that's pretty much it. They last the life cycle of a single macrophage and then die. Shit, macrophages are bigger than them.
They're bigger than a lot of stuff.
People underestimate biologically how massive a white blood cell is.
And it still
There's a
manages
bully.
to squeeze through spaces small enough that your
I
red
hate how
blood
it's
cells.
transmigratory.
Yeah.
It's so big, but it just squeezes through blood vessels and shit.
It's just like, oh, there's a group of cells in front of me. Yeah, let me just get by here real quick. No, don't worry. Don't
Excuse me, pardon
separate
me,
yourselves.
coming
Just gonna squeeze on through here. It's like, oh, a
Okay.
nucleus? No, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Alright, no, they do have a nucleus. What's the one that doesn't? Plaque? No, plaque is like, it's not even really considered alive. It's like sheddings of a different cell.
You can name your saw blade yourself, also.
Ah, yeah.
Oh,
Hold on, no, that's gonna bother me unless I look it up. Are plaque alive?
No, I think it's just waste from cells.
How do you spell plaque?
PLAQUE.
I knew it was some weird fucking foreign version of the word. Oh, I'm sorry, Google. Apparently it's is plaque alive. Ugh. Dental plaque is alive, consisting of billions of bacteria, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah. That's me. That ting, that's me on these keys. Just that anvil striking is how hard I'm clicking each one of these keys to type. Just
Oh.
right there.
People also ask, can blood plaque reversed?
What?
People actually type this?
Google's fucking wild.
Can blood plaque reversed? What?
I think they forgot a word there. I think
But enough people typed this specific phrase that it popped up in the
you
top 4
burn the
suggestions.
keyboard.
Can you... Perganant.
Pregnant.
Sister
Perganant.
Sister ain't had periods since Perganant.
To Brigat.
This is just talking about build-up. I want to know if it's alive. Alright, vascular plaque.
So you were getting a mask, and Naiva was getting a hat.
Yeah, I think so.
Naibai wanted the Eastern traditional headdress. I forget what it's called.
She wanted
yeah.
Ushanka. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, it's not. It wasn't.
We're not going to be completely racist here. We're going to inform people that there are more headdresses than the regular chibab that everybody sees. That's not the word for it.
Okay, so they wanted a. All right, so there's different types of hijab. You have shaila, which is basically it goes your face is uncovered. It goes over your head, but the scarf is wrapped around from the right side over to your left shoulder, and you can see the other part of the scarf is usually traditionally draped over your left shoulder and chest. The hijab is the scarf is wrapped from left to right, and both pieces of the scarf are behind you. The hijab amira is the one that it's not really a scarf; it like kind of goes over like a hood and comes down over your shoulders, a little bit to your biceps. A kimar is like the full-on hood that goes up over your shoulders and head, face still uncovered, goes down till like your biceps the same, covering the breast for modesty. A chador is a jador, or I think it's like jador. I don't, not really Arabic. Don't really pronounce it, but I
You're
think it's
trying your
chador.
best.
Arabic.
Chavez, Arabic, Arabic, Arabia. It doesn't matter.
Ruby.
It is the Shadur is your face is still mostly uncovered, but it's the one that looks like a snuggie, where like you can't see their arms because it's covered and it's wrapped.
Mhm.
Usually, it's usually right side tucked under, left side tucked over. Then, when most people
Mhm.
think of a burqa, they're actually thinking of the niqab, which is just the eyes are uncovered, rest of the face is covered, like the shawl that goes down over the breast, the arms, and stuff like that. And then when you an actual burqa is over the head, everything. The eyes are quote uncovered, but it has that little screen and all that. That's the one that actually
Mhm.
looks like a full on ninja hood.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the one
Yeah.
that you asked for a hijab, so they just basically made you a hood.
Yeah. Which there is value in having just a hood. It's like there's value in having just a cape. Or cloak, I guess. What is the difference? Is it just width?
Even before Naiba and Beatrice get capes.
But yeah,
And then
what?
somebody else is, no cape.
No cape. But
Everybody get matching cape.
what
No capes.
actually would be the difference between a cloak and a cape? Is it where it's mounted? Is it the size? Is it material?
I think it's like the where it's mounted and the manner and the covering and stuff.
Where it's mounted, what it covers, how it's worn, length.
Yeah.
A cape is usually a cape is a derivative. So cape is technically what we have now, but the old like when most people think of a cape, like I think of a superhero cape when somebody says cape.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a lot of
Ermine
people
is what
do.
most people are talking about. An ermine is what a king would wear. Goes up and over the shoulders, locks around beneath the chin or neck, usually, like what a king of England or France would wear.
Mm-hmm.
Drapes all the way down to their calves, or in the more, which were entirely only for paintings. They weren't actually like that because there were ones entirely meant for paintings and social gatherings, or they would not go outside and get them dirty. Or the ridiculously long ones that are like 3 or 4 feet of just cloth behind them.
Oh yeah, the floor
Those
draggers.
are ermines. Yeah. The actual like king's ermines, when they were out seeing the peasants sometimes, they actually weren't that long. They didn't have a bunch of people behind them. Maybe people like Marie Antoinette, the French in the later half of before their evolution. They were kind of a
Only if they
opulent like that.
really wanted to flex on the poor.
Yeah, but most of the time
Or she
they
could
were
make her
actually
hair into a bow.
they were reasonably shortened to where they were about halfway up the calf, so it wouldn't drag on the ground. That way, if when the king or the queen the king was stepping down, it wouldn't dip into a puddle or something and get it dirty. Yeah, they thought of that.
Right.
But that's an ermine. A cloak is really just short, usually worn over one arm 90% of the time. Cloaks can vary in length, but the traditional cloak length covers an entire arm. But they could also be worn around the head, which then it's, head. It all stems because you've got all of that naming comes from Hebrew, Christianity, and Islam, Hindu, and all that. They've all got different words that clashed, and because traders spread like the clap, nobody can agree on anything.
Yeah, the whole reason that the cloak came up in my mind, because like it randomly popped up that I remember you could take a cloak and use it as a bedroll to sleep out under the stars, and you could pack up basically everything you need to survive in the Irish steppe into a cloak, and basically carry it on the small of your back like a bandolier.
I made it fit.
Ooh. Let's see.
You can figure
Oh,
out
that's a
which,
lot.
one belongs to whom. Do not. Ow.
Yeah.
Don't.
Sorry.
Please, never again. That comes through
Sorry.
extremely sharply on Discord. It picks up whistles really well for some reason.
God damn, triple S? Whoa.
That was entirely because as the Fletcher was making it, their apprentice like, you can't make that deadly. Fucking watch me.
All right,
You
so
have
this
a bet.
the
Basically have a
merely
shit ton of
be
bet.
spion.
Yeah, there's Ivies, there's mobs. That's Nibis, that was the lattice, that's his. The skull mask, gee, I wonder who the skull mask is for.
Ah, gee. Could it be Beatrice?
All right, so let's see.
Sometimes they're not going to be extravagant, offer a bunch, but most of the time they will always offer decent scaling because you brought back decent enough materials in good enough condition, which has entirely to do with the fact that Aurora has a really good scavenging skill.
All right,
So,
so
yeah.
the question is Beatrice,
Yeah, that's yours. That's for the Beatrice.
and the skull mask is for Beatrice.
Yes. We can tell which ones are for Naibai.
Yeah.
And I need to put this in the proper place.
Oh
How
boy.
does it feel to know? How does it feel to know that fucking what Bonnie uses to punch things? Each one of those gauntlets gives her 750 their stats.
Woof.
All right, let's see if I can do this without fucking it up.
It's real simple.
Hmm?
You've got it. It's real simple. There you go, though. That's your equipment all got together. Got the eldest son who's just gonna hand everything over to one of the younger ones. All right. Here's all your weapons. And they will sit themselves down, sweating without a shirt, with a fucking cool towel wrapped around their head. Stop staring. Sorry. So
Double A. Agility. S.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so like it would be you find the column that you're gonna have that specific scaling in and click, like this column times 2 for the double. What's like incentive to get as much like to fight and grind gear is double, triple, and quadruple aren't the limits to scaling.
No?
It's technically you stop scaling in stats times 6 and then it'll roll over to the next one above it.
Oh.
Double like a like an if you were to go
I guess one example would be Yon's robe, her Mage Lord robe, which is
yeah.
triple S.
Yep. That's got some broken ass stats to it too because it's triple S, then that's technically 14 times. So one triple S rating is 14 times as effective as a sextuple singular S rating. Like one at like SSS rate. once you get to SSS, there is only a few things that go above it. You have legendary stats, which them and of themselves just come with their own scaling percentage. Then you have mythic, and then outer.
Um,
But none of you are need to worry about anything outer related whatsoever. Theoretically, if you could fight the big bad you're currently aligned to kill, Malatatus, you could probably make a weapon out of him if you knew the right people and make an outer class weapon.
I mean, we know Janaya, if she would do it.
She might be skeptical to try and make us. I mean, she's made stuff out of worse, but she might be skeptical to deal with the dark god's champion soul, though also very interested at the same time. Destroy the world. Give someone something that could destroy the world. Hmm. Hmm. And then you've got Crucia just somewhere out there, just the purging arm grows restless.
All right.
I got that. By the way, that actually isn't the sound of cutting, that's the sound of sanding. Fucking sanding handles. Ugh. Adventurers want effective weapons that have pretty handles that they can hold onto that are comfortable, because it's not good enough to have a skeletonized blade that'll destroy the world. It has to feel comfy when you're swinging it. Oh, by the way, Suyoi seen through what Faraji and Fiona were trying to do, but Suyoi is such a kind person, he had an idea. So what he did is he went and talked to someone himself. So you'll be happy to know the dice are on your side for once.
Yay!
I know, right? I'm so used to them picking on you.
It is very common in this game for some reason.
I know, right? I love it.
They are entirely
mean-
random, but it's still like, nah, fuck these guys.
Hey, there's literally someone who's trapped inside of a dungeon alone right now, alright? You're not having the worst of it.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's a in-game dungeon too, so it can revive you inside of it.
It's like, no, I'm not done with you yet.
Yep. It's the spiritual successor of the dude who has the worst luck ever.
Oh no.
He became a BBEG and he got his vengeance. And then he did nothing except return to his life as a melon farmer. Yes, he was a melon farmer. And he was a succubus melon farmer, but he's just glad that that mysterious ass fox lady stopped stealing all of his melons.
I wonder who that was.
Mm. Everyone's stating their items.
Yep.
It's tip tap tap tippy tip tap tippy.
I
I mean, come on. Lattice work labo. That is ingenious for a crystal bow.
yeah, that's
Clever
nice.
move.
I don't know how to make extra red and yellow.
Well, if you need any help, since Ivy edits it all the time.
stuff to
Yeah, they'll,
make her necessary.
they'll probably fix it for you
Yes,
if you just be kind and ask.
because am smooth brain and don't know how to do things right on here.
Okay.
But you do your stuff first.
Be here to help.
And
Yeah, we had
what about the arrows? Or
Oh
did you put them?
yeah, right. I forgot to put those down. No, well, actually, I only had like 45 more characters I could type because there's a limit to how much you can have without Discord Nitro.
Yeah, that's
I
really
found it
stupid.
was 112 arrows.
Okay.
Let's see. Quick question for the skull helmet. Um, what is the stack shape? And I assume it only stacks one time, right?
Stack shape, right? I forgot to give you all that. So stack shape is going to be 11, and yes, only one time. You're correct.
Okay. Um, let's see. Where is the thingy? Let's see. This thingy. God damn, I have too many fucking things open. Close that because I don't need it.
Yeah, I've got 19 tabs open. Welcome to my world.
Yep. I need to have this open and this open.
I should edit that. It's not full armor piercing, it's light armor. Which is
All right. Roll.
Oh, very nice. Does inherit bleed? Hmm. So, is there a difference between regular bleed and inherit bleed, or am I just looking too far into it? Am I just
well,
looking
yeah,
at it
regular.
too hard?
You're not gonna proc bleed all the time, unless the item
Mhm.
is inherently dealing bleed. Then it's going to bleed. Like you shoot somebody with a normal arrow, you're not going to guarantee bleed stacks on them because it's just a normal steel arrow that they break off the half so they can move and let it stay in there. It's just going to dig in maybe, but it's not going to bleed profusely because it's physically plugging up the wound. But sting arrows, they're made from a crystal and wireless stinger. They're going to cause inherent bleed because it's getting in there, and instead of staying and plugging it up because it's brittle, it's going to immediately break and start slicing up the wound.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And it does light armor piercing? Like, it can pierce light armor or something?
Light armor piercing, it basically means that it will pierce any light form of armor, yes.
Okay.
But not
Like
not
leather.
shields. Yeah.
I know it's not going to go through a shield or like solid plates or anything like that.
God damn it. Okay, I gotta send you guys another fucking screenshot. I just opened up my phone's browser, and sometimes some weird ass thumbnails get chosen for shit that pops up on my homepage.
Just a random ass shit.
Oh, look at this one. Just the face they chose.
Okay then.
Oh, Lord.
Do you see the fucking face?
Alright, so this green gonna be green.
Why that face?
I don't know.
It's just-
I hate that it keeps dropping me out of this field every time I tab over to check something. Yeah.
So, all the weapons are shiny and brand new.
Yes.
What color is Fion's armor?
What color did they use? What dye did they use? Let's see. Red green.
Okay.
Generated.
No, he's taking it. He's not gonna leave it.
Okay.
Doing.
If that was
God damn, that sling does 1,200. No, wait. 12,000 damage on its own.
Congratulations.
I didn't expect the sling of all things to be the most powerful item.
Hello, the Chad sling anyone?
The Chad sling actually
The
used in
slings are
warfare.
incredibly powerful.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They are.
Like, oh, what are you gonna do? It's a bit of fabric and some rocks. Bitch, I can hit you from 40 meters away. What you talking about?
You mean 400?
And I
Yeah.
can your armor.
Well, I can hit you from 40 meters. I can't quite sling 400 yet.
Hold
Like
still. Sniper shot. Yeet.
yeah, they can outdo bows and that sort of thing with a sling.
Yep.
Just
Because using physics in the good old fashioned human body, the only reason they started using bows easier than slings, crossbows easier than bows.
Guns easier than both.
if only they discovered rubber. Alright, I got all my items written down with all their bonuses.
Good.
Yes! And I'm still
Yeah.
recording. Good.
Good. Now, are you nerds gonna go have yourselves a nice breakfast to celebrate your goodies?
Well, Naibai been told to eat healthy, so what do they got?
Well, almost entirely because your psychiatrist has already said that they're going to eat healthy. Ibai is going to get themselves a healthy chicken and a grilled chicken and pork salad.
Just chicken and pork, that's it.
Well, no, chicken, pork, salad, nerd. That means there's vegetables.
Salad
It
doesn't need
has
vegetables. It does now, but it didn't
okay,
always.
fair. It's got grilled chicken and grilled pork with lettuce, some very thoroughly cooked before being added beet slices, some not long ways cut carrots, but actually diced carrots, and some cauliflowers.
Damn, that's actually hard to do. I've tried dicing carrots. It's a pain in the ass.
It is.
Yes.
It is so much easier to just take the potato peeler and go, you know what, fuck you, you get strips.
Or you just attach the potato peeler to the drill And you just go,
That is why they are giving you the diced carrots. Enjoy.
Okay, so does this come with dressing?
It do come with a very tasty, very healthy
vinaigrette.
vinaigrette made out of reduced fat lean beef stock with some garlic to help for immune health.
They used soup stock.
And yeah,
Fair. Vinegar, soup stock, salad.
vinegar,
All
soup
right.
stock, and garlic. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, you'll be fine. You'll be healthy.
No, it is technically healthy. You're correct. As long as you
Very
don't like
healthy.
eat multiple bowls of it.
Yeah. Like, despite what somebody tells you for, salads aren't actually that healthy for you. If you eat a bunch of salads, it's gonna make you you're gonna have hard shits.
Oh yeah, all that fiber and everything. Like one like normal sized bowl, not like a salad bowl, normal sized bowl of salad is good. That's enough. That's
Because
all
it
you
doesn't
need.
have sugar.
Yeah. It's got
That's
a
why this is
whole
healthy
fuck
for you.
ton of fiber, no sugar, maybe some oil.
Oils and salts,
Yeah.
proteins.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking some of the things people put in their salads cost more calories to eat than they actually give you. And no, I'm not talking about celery, that one's a myth. But there are things that you just can't process.
Cheese. No, I'm kidding.
Like fucking corn, for example.
With the, other than having the corn,
It's squinchy. You keep your money, but I get your baby.
I mean, yeah,
Ooh.
that's how it should
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Ribs.
be. Baby back, ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, the ribs. Chili's baby back ribs. I want my baby back ribs, barbecue sauce. I'm bigger than you, which means I'm high up on the food chain. Get in my belly.
Get in my belly.
I'm hungry. It's fucking.
Do you find me sexy?
Shadow, your headphone's doing the thing again.
Oh,
Oh no.
sorry. Is it doing the humming?
It's doing the buzz.
Why is it doing the buzz? We don't know. All right, so you're all gonna go get your breakfast. Means you're out of the smith and you're not thirsting for the fucking eldest son like everyone else. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
that man's grip strength, he could literally pick you up by your vagina. Don't fuck with him.
Fiona doesn't have it. Moving on.
You have a dick, unless you want that thing to get run through a trap. That taffy stretcher of a fucking hand of his.
Nope, I'm good. Fiona's leaving.
He's full.
The old big twist.
You know what my favorite Helen Hunt movie is? Twister. Oh, one of my friends just sent me an adopt, and she's so pretty. Stop. Stop sending me
You're
things.
like,
You know I'm weak.
stop tempting with you with all these gorgeous adopt.
Oh, she's so pretty. Oh my god. Okay. They know I've been looking for like a pretty like demon template to base stuff off. I'd like to run stuff off of, and I'm like, no, I want to buy it so I can use it.
Have art money now.
No, but no. I know. I gotta wait for certain people to. Oh, I could afford one thick with a Q picture. That's how expensive they are. Holy shit.
Jesus.
They do really good stuff though. Like they draw like good comic book levels of fucking like detail. It's fucking like they make every bit of it, like clothes that have wrinkles. They draw like the shadows under the wrinkles and all that. The difference in lighting based off of angle, fucking expressions and everything. They are such a talented artist, and they spend like 70 to 80% of their time drawing Genshin Impact net cuckold porn on fucking
Wow.
Twitter. They
That's
have
why I've
literally
never seen
created
them.
they have literally created their own version of getting blacked called getting churled that involves Hilla churls from Genshin Impact. Fucking fascinating.
Well,
That's-
I
I've got cucking blacklisted. That's probably why I haven't heard of them.
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
It's
they
not my
technically they're
thing.
NTR, but yeah.
same.
But I guess if the other person is like just being used as a sex toy, that's different. But in a lot of the things that I've seen about it, it just looks like cheating with extra steps, and I'm not about that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
"Eh, not gonna do it for me."
yeah. But
Yeah,
I
I
am going
haven't
to
seen
hop
any
up
of it.
and
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
go take a shower.
It do be 9
Fine.
o'clock.
It do be
Yeah.
9 o'clock. Ah, yes.
I,
Everyone sits down at the breakfast table, and Slytherin sits down shortly after. Oh, who wants to illegally go where now? And that's where we just end it.
Who wants to go where now? Everyone starts drooling. How convenient.
Ah,
you
a
want to
waiting
illegally go
game.
where now? All right, bye bye, guys
Blah
and
blah.
girls.
I got a shower too, honestly. I got a
Same.
shower and shit.
It was hot as fuck today. It got 100 degrees. It's supposed to be getting colder. What the fuck?
That's a lie. Florida's not allowed to be cold.
It was cold last year.
No, it wasn't. It was an illusion.
Yeah, you're right. It was just windy.
Exactly.
That's the only way Florida cools down. It needs AC.
If you live that close to the ocean, you're not allowed to be cold.
I've met people who come down from like the northern states in the mountains. They're like, "Why can I chew the air?" It's like, "Yep, welcome to Florida."
I'm sorry, mister. I live at 48% oxygen deficiency.
I'm sorry, mister. I live on top of a 160-mile tall mountain where the air is literally so thin that its sound doesn't travel anymore.
Fucking Colorado. What is it with those people?
This isn't what they meant when they said get high.
The real Rocky Mountain High is a different meaning for me, good sir.
Hello.
Hello.